I would ask people to tell the truth.
You want the truth, Meghan Markle? You can't handle the truth, not even close. But what do I say? Bring it on.
Now, if you're talking about yourself in the vicinity of the Duchess of Sussex,
Meghan Markle made a bold entrance at Aspire alongside Emma Grede, seemingly daring the universe to reveal the truth. Within hours, insiders claimed that the very Montecito aides she personally hired decided to take her up on that challenge. Reports suggest that Meghan is a ruthless businesswoman who treats her staff poorly, leading to a high turnover rate.
you better make sure that it's less than 15 seconds.
Me too, let's go. And then we'll pass the bit that enough times. Just get something done at the and then we'll pass the bit that
Because that's what took Meghan to go from delighted to your 15 seconds of talking about yourself, Emma, are up. Can we move on to me?
I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
Nothing to do with her own behavior. It's all lies.
Hi, I'm Meghan Markle.
And I'm Harry.
And we're royally screwed.
Insiders describe her as a bully, with 2 former team members reportedly rushing to high-powered attorneys, clutching what they call their daybooks, minute-by-minute journals documenting every alleged meltdown, 3 a.m. directive, and morale-crushing staff purge within the Sussex compound. These diaries are said to be scanned, time-stamped, and locked in a legal vault, ready to explode the polished narrative Meghan has crafted on platforms like YouTube. Critics have zeroed in on a particular sentence that encapsulates everything wrong with Meghan and her brand. It's all about branding.
Meghan Markle strutted into Aspire with Emma Grede and dared the universe to tell the truth. Within hours, rumor has it the very Montecito aides she personally hired and recently axed decided to take her up on that challenge.
We know she's a vicious, ruthless businesswoman who treats her staff like shit.
Everybody who works for her quits. Everybody says she's a bully. She's very nasty. She's a bully.
To appear more relatable and motherly, she launched her lifestyle brand. But instead of embracing the role, she treated it like a costume to wear when it suited her. Buzz from Los Angeles began circulating the moment Emma's 90-minute chat hit the airwaves. Industry gossip suggests that the former aides watched the "tell the truth" soundbite twice, exchanged a single zipped mouth emoji, and booked a same-day appointment with a Century City litigator known for breaking open NDAs. Employment lawyers on cable panels argue that California whistleblower laws can nullify private gag orders if misconduct touches on public interest. And the aides are reportedly betting that their annotated spreadsheets, voice memos, and Slack screenshots qualify as public interest gold.
What the what? Let's talk about this one sentence that exposes everything that's wrong with her and her brand.
It's all branding. Did you notice it? It's all branding to make herself look more relatable and motherly.
She took all that money and launched her stupid-ass lifestyle brand with Jam.
But instead of embracing the role, she treated it like a costume, something to wear when it suited her brand. Suits. Get it?
Meghan often recounts a story from when she was 11 years old, claiming she was infuriated by a commercial that implied only women wash dishes. She wrote to the company, and they changed the ad based on her letter. Critics note that she frequently emphasizes her age in these stories, perhaps to evoke sympathy. One leak claims an entry marked 90 Con Jam Rant describes Meghan demanding a reshoot because the jam jar looked sad under studio lights. Skeptics argue this aligns with YouTubers' frame-by-frame breakdowns of her tight smile during the show's supply chain question.
Every chance she gets, she tells us the story about when she was 11 years old in the dish soap. From Oprah to Netflix to Spotify to glossy exclusives, she's been on the global grievance tour for how many years now? 5?
It said women all over America are fighting greasy pots and pans. And the boy said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. And at 11, I just found that infuriating.
She starts talking and telling a story about how when she was 11, and she keeps saying, well, when I was 11, I saw this commercial and they were talking about washing dishes and only soap for washing dishes was for women. And she said, I didn't think only women wash dishes. It wasn't there. So I wrote to the company. And when I was 11, I wrote my first letter, and then I was 11. And she kept saying she was 11.
Lots of letters and put pen to paper. And They ended up changing the commercial to people all over America. And, you know, it's funny to look back at it now because that was before social media where you had a reach that was so much greater. It was just an 11-year-old with a pen and paper.
She writes to the company, they change the text, they change the commercial. And I go, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I guys, just interrupt you there for 1 minute. I was trying not to be rude, but I wanted to be funny because it was so serious. And I go, I just want to give everybody here a context as to how we're different. I said, well, when I was 11, I was playing a prostitute.
Yeah. This is where we're this is one.
This woman on the right, like, it's the same way the audience is.
The ways were very different. When I was 11, I was playing a prostitute. So okay, bro. I wished I'd known you. Where we're going here. When I was 11, a little different. I would have been writing very different letters, but equally important, I hope.
If judges agree that the diaries are protected as whistleblower evidence, a single unredacted page could overshadow the palace's buried bullying annex. Insiders whisper that the Sussex legal team is already preparing for an emergency injunction, questioning whether the very phrase Meghan threw into the microphone could become the legal crowbar that swings open her vault of secrets. Fresh whispers suggest that one of those daybooks contains a color-coded page titled Aspire Prep, with margin notes that could upend Meghan's carefully curated podcast persona.
She ain't liking working with her team. No wonder they've all been sacked because Meghan Markle is no longer going to listen to anyone else's advice.
A Hollywood source familiar with the AIDS files claims that Meghan spent 47 minutes of a 2-hour production call rehearsing the mantra, "My vision, my brand," while staffers noted that her calm demeanor faltered when Emma mentioned failure rates. Body language experts have since analyzed that moment, replaying Meghan's rapid blinks and jaw shifts after Grede's gentle inquiry about risk. Their verdict? Microstress. Critics on talk radio have extended the dissection, arguing that this anecdote supports a long-running narrative of nerves masked as mastery.
All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
Every week, I'm genuinely surprised by what happens with the Sussexes.
They're the most entitled, disingenuous people on the planet.
Meanwhile, entertainment lawyers not connected to the case speculate that if the aides' annotated rehearsal logs surface, they could serve as contemporaneous evidence of undue pressure, especially regarding a bullet point where an assistant allegedly flagged a voice note at 3:10 a.m., capturing Meghan muttering that she would never be Martha if the lighting team kept washing out the jam. Insiders tease that this line matches wording in a leaked draft email. The backlash against Meghan continues to grow, with many claiming that she and Harry are the most entitled and disingenuous people on the planet.
The beginning of that clip where she's like, oh my God,
She just wanted to be a pretend princess in Hollywood, so she split her husband off from his royal family.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time?
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament.
Emma allegedly received praise for holding space when Meghan's energy spiked, but skeptics caution that the leak is unverified. The timing coincides with YouTube analysts who noticed Meghan's smile flicker precisely when Grede compared her to Gwyneth Paltrow. Adding to the drama, body language channels highlighted Meghan's quick side-eye during a mention of Serena Williams, creating a dossier of microtells that pundits believe the diaries could corroborate.
She's a malignant narcissist who is a truly terrible person.
With a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
After taking a break, Meghan Markle is back.
No, the world's biggest victims right now are the Duke and Duchess of Netflix, and don't take my word for it.
New intrigue erupted overnight when a freelance audio tech, contracted for episode 6 of Aspire, allegedly circulated a waveform screenshot said to capture Meghan stopping mid-sentence, lowering her mic and whispering, "Delete that, they'll twist it." This leak, still unverified, aligns with the timestamp where Emma had just pressed about imposter syndrome. Commentators are now calling attention to an abrupt edit and a jolt in background ambiance, arguing that the aides' diaries could explain the splice.
The dysfunctional Duchess who couldn't, she says she runs businesses, the woman couldn't run a bath.
As ever essentially means as it's always been.
Half of her friendships are, do you have a private jet or not? Oh, great, I'm your best friend now.
Breaking right now, as ever, might as well be renamed to as never.
Meanwhile, a former Spotify producer briefed on the Montecito workflow maintains that Meghan's team kept a standing policy to flag any moment where she shakes her head while saying yes, as body language channels tend to pounce on that. If the text screenshot is genuine, it proves the crew logged those cues in real time, providing fuel for litigators eager to show how much energy went into narrative control. Across the pond, British morning shows are giddy, with royal analysts freeze-framing the same Aspire clip where Emma remarks, "You're the next Martha Stewart." And Meghan responds with a tight jaw, "Oh yeah," before blinking 5 times. Tabloids speculate that the aides' journals might include a color legend for blink clusters and jaw sets, mapping each to stress triggers like Martha references, Serena name drops, or any mention of sales figures. The resurfaced twerking and labor video continues to ricochet through commentary circles, with critics noting Meghan's defensive, "It was 4 years ago" explanation oddly mirrors a rehearsal note that an assistant reportedly wrote, "If cornered, timestamp the memory to minimize scrutiny."
Trying to make ourselves into a brand just turned us into products. We don't need to be a brand, do we?
Everyone says they don't have time to make homemade meals, but if you just have 3 nannies, 2 butlers, a housekeeper, a driver, and a full-time personal assistant, you have all the time in the world. Stop making excuses and start moving snacks from one bag to another.
Lawyers watching from London suggest that if evidence of scripted deflections emerges, the Sussex brand's authenticity could wobble just as new products are scheduled to drop at month's end. If that clipboard ever surfaces, critics grumble it could validate the body language expert's observation of a micro-grimace when Meghan described the stand to Emma. Royal podcasters have already cued side-by-side clips of Meghan's comments about counting cash with Archie in last year's Variety Q&A, where she stressed teaching him gratitude, not currency.
Reality is she's a grifter. Fake it till you make it.
PR motivated, money motivated.
She wants us to listen to her like she's a founder because she took all that money and launched her stupid-ass lifestyle brand with jam.
Commentators now question whether the aides' day books log any internal debate over pitching the Sussex children as mini entrepreneurs, especially after Meghan expressed annoyance during the interview that Lily's dresses were generating affiliate sales she could not capture. Meanwhile, YouTube breakdowns of the podcast's infamous jam origin story continue to gain traction. One viral creator slowed the audio and insists he hears a second voice, possibly a producer, murmur, "Happy, not tasty," right after Meghan recalls friends praising her preserves. No official confirmation has emerged yet, but speculation dovetails with chatter that Aspire's raw tracks underwent at least 4 post-production sweeps, 2 more than normal, to scrub any crew prompts. The bigger bombshell insiders hint at is that the X-Diaries supposedly list the exact software plugins used to warm and soften Meghan's tone, complete with weekly invoices.
Meghan thinks dignity is the name of the maid that cleans the upstairs bathroom. She wanted the crown, but didn't want to carry the weight.
If subpoenas pry those invoices loose, analysts predict a round of headlines about audio airbrushing just as her second collection goes live. As the countdown to the ZoomDeck's official debut ticks down, rival lifestyle moguls are drafting their responses. Insiders whisper that Prince Harry, far from ignoring the swirl, has been visibly rattled by what one Montecito neighbor calls the daybook drumbeat. This reaction is reportedly compounded after he skimmed a rough cut of Aspire's Fresh Kitchen segment. According to a freelance editor who claims to have overheard off-camera chuckles, the Duke raised an eyebrow when Meghan repeated her "My faith is greater than my fear" mantra, muttering that the line now felt over-licensed.
She's obsessed with her own ego.
She's crying for sympathy, playing the victim.
They're just whining millennial windbags.
Oh, how lovely!
The same source alleges he suggested swapping it for something lighter, but Meghan, determined to keep the phrasing, countered that any change would undermine narrative cohesion, a phrase immediately mocked on Dan Wootton's Drive Time show. As the backdrop of leaks continues, Netflix bosses are expected to decide within 3 weeks whether Aspire Season 2 will premiere in September or slide to November to avoid election turbulence. Some argue that the schedule shuffle could buy time to recut any scenes flagged by the aide's lawyers, while others warn that a delay risks jam fatigue. Fans, foes, and fence-sitters alike are left wondering which path Meghan will choose and whether the rumored notebooks will force her hand before she can even taste test the next flavor. The tension is palpable, with subpoenas drafted, trailer edits queued, and reputations teetering on a razor's edge. If the vault cracks, every whispered contradiction, from beige dress myths to midnight staffing calls, could spill across headlines. If it stays sealed, critics warn that the speculation machine will only rev higher, chewing through every on-air mantra Meghan repeats. Which scenario do you think she and Harry should fear most? Exposure or eternal rumor? Share your thoughts below, hit like if you love the inside scoop, and subscribe for the next round of royal-adjacent intrigue. Keep watching to ride the twists as they unfold. You won't believe what's coming next.